speaking, 1 out of 4 of you will have heart disease. Statistics here in the U.S., 1 out of 4 of you will have heart disease. The reason I'm doing this workshop is that so that won't be you. And so that won't be you. And so that's very, very important. They're saying 1 out of 4 people here in the United States are having some type of heart condition, whether it's high blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, coronary artery disease, high cholesterol, whatever it is, that's all kind of in the realm of heart disease. And so, why in the world you're in a chiropractic office talking about heart disease? Right? And so, because we teach what God's laws and principles are, and of health and healing and vitality. And so I think it's very important to help people understand how the heart works and how to overcome all these conditions. And so, especially when it comes to high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and so on. And so, if you abide by these principles that we teach, you'll be able maybe never to have heart disease, but on top of that, how to overcome it. And so I'm going to teach you today principles that you can really apply to yourself to help strengthen your heart and to overcome any type of heart condition that you have. And so before we talk about the condition or what the solution, whatever it is, I want to talk about how incredible your heart is. Number one, your heart literally can pumps about 115,000 times beats per day. When you calculate that, that's about 126 gallons of blood every single day. That's how powerful your heart is. You have about 60,000 miles of blood vessels in your body. God did not do a mistake in your body. In your body right now can literally go around the earth twice. And it's in you. That's truly amazing. And so but that's how incredible your heart is, but it's very, very sensitive. It's the most important muscle in your body because it continues to pump. You need your heart. And so what is the number 1 cause of death in the United States? Heart disease. And so it's not car accidents, it's not cancer. Cancer is number 2. Car accidents is number 5, but heart disease. And remember, when I talk about heart disease, it's in a collective of conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, coronary artery disease, congestive heart failure, and so forth. And so that right now, 1 out of 4 people, of course, that's about every 30 seconds somebody's dying. And that's pretty extreme when you think about that. There's 360 million people in the U.S. And every 37 seconds somebody dies of heart disease. And so but it's very close to that area. And so people are always, you hear it all the time. People die of strokes, heart attacks, and so forth. And so the history of heart disease, why is that so important? Heart disease was never really a real thing until around the 1960s. The 1960s, boom, it was like a jolt of heart disease. And the reason that is because of obesity. Type 2 diabetes started going up. On top of that, you had fast food was kind of like a staple now. In the 1960s, McDonald's, Wendy's, all these KFC, things like that, it was just a staple. So it was just part of our diet, part of our every single day. Of course, soft drinks with high fructose corn syrup and all those things were introduced around in the 1960s, 1970s, and of course, heart disease skyrocketed. And so we got some people coming in right here. I'll let them come in right here. Just make sure they have a folder as well. And so, welcome. Like them shades. You just bring a seat right over here. Yeah, you can just bring the chair right over here. You got it. Look at that strong man. And so, we'll come a little bit over here. The camera's right there. Facebook Live right here. Everybody say hi. And so people all around the world are looking. And so we're just in the beginning. Yeah, I really didn't miss much. I just talked about how horrible heart disease was. But you already know that. And so what I was telling everybody was that in the 1960s, that's when heart disease really rised. And that's because we got introduced to a lot of fast food. It was kind of dietary, just a staple. Just like in Puerto Rico, rice is a staple. You know, we love arroz con gandules, things like that in Puerto Rico. And so it's just staple. Same thing over here. Fast food has become very kind of nonchalant. It's just part of our diet. But not only that, there was a lot of stress. Stress has definitely increased our rate of heart disease and high blood pressure and so forth. And then toxins. There's a lot of things that not just in our water, but in our food, that we don't even know it's in there. But there are chemicals. So things that we cannot pronounce, that we need a chemist to pronounce it. And so those are all toxins in our food, in our water, things like that we didn't even know that they produced. And that's all led to heart conditions. And so I'm going to explain that in a bit. And the future's not bright for heart disease. The American Heart Association is now saying by 2030, 1 out of every 3 people will have heart disease. And so it's the cost of heart disease, treating heart disease, will triple in the year 2030, according to American Heart Association. And so, people are just not changing the way they live at all. And so, but the future's definitely not bright. But one thing I wanted to emphasize is cholesterol. Who's heard of that? So, in the mainstream media, doctors, cholesterol is like a demon. It's like a demon that just came inside our body. Cholesterol is cholesterol. Cholesterol is wonderful. You need cholesterol. God created cholesterol for a reason. Cholesterol is like the repairman that's trying to, I'm not sure if y'all been to West Plain Lake. They're doing a lot of construction. That's exactly what cholesterol is. They're trying to widen the road. They're trying to heal whatever. That road is just too skinny right now. But it's trying to, when I went to Africa, I always tell this story. When I went to Africa, I went to Ghana, and I just had about 20,000 people. And what I saw was, in the roads, we had to drive from the airport to, one of the main cities, called Accra. And when we were driving, we were driving in this big old bus, there was these craters in the road. Like big craters that you had to literally dodge. The bus had to dodge and things like that to get to our destination. And I remember when we were coming back from Accra and we were going to the airport, there was, we saw to the side this beautiful road. Beautiful. It was like, why are we driving here? Why are we not driving over there? It was like this perfectly seamed road. And I asked the bus driver, and he said, oh, that's the president's road. The presidents can drive, their president rides his race cars there and things like that. And so, but when I think about that, those craters that we had to dodge and things like that, that's basically what inflammation does to our arteries. What causes inflammation? Toxins, things like sugar and bad fats. Sugar, fats, and toxins. Those 3 things cause inflammation in our arteries, and it creates these craters in our arteries. What is cholesterol? Cholesterol is literally the repairman. He comes in and tries to clean those craters so we can have a smooth road. And so, however, here in America, we're taught cholesterol is bad. So let's take a what? Statin. A statin, yes, it will lower down your cholesterol. However, it stops the healing process. It stops the healing process, and then you become sicker longer. And then the side effects of cholesterol medication, what does it do? It takes cholesterol. 60% of your brain is cholesterol. You need cholesterol in your brain. So a lot of people who have been taking statins for 20, 30 years, they start forgetting stuff. Their memory, and they have fogginess and things like that. And so it starts affecting your hormones and so forth. And so like it's very, very important when it comes to cholesterol. Who's heard of LDL and HDL? Everybody know what those are, right? When you go to the doctor, you get a blood test. What is that? LDL, HDL, they check those. Oh, this is bad, this is good, right? LDL is what? Bad cholesterol, they call it. HDL is what? Good cholesterol, right? That's what they say. But what LDL and HDL are, all they are carriers of cholesterol. They just carry. They're the bus driver. They bring cholesterol. HDL, they call it good cholesterol because it takes it out of the blood. You want cholesterol out of your blood, of course. However, LDL, they call it bad cholesterol because it keeps cholesterol into the blood. It keeps it. Why does cholesterol stay in the blood? Because it's trying to repair those inflammation areas in your arteries, those craters. And so that's why they call LDL bad cholesterol, because the longer you have LDLs, the more. But I'm going to tell you what cholesterol is really bad in a sec. But it's very, very important. Cholesterol is cholesterol. God did not do a mistake in your body. You need cholesterol. 80% of your cholesterol comes from your liver. It is there to protect you. Women, when you give birth, guess what? Check your blood right after you give birth. Your cholesterol is going to be skyrocketed. Why? Because you literally had to, something came out of your body, a human being came out of your body, things ripped. And when they rip, guess who's at the scene? Cholesterol is at the scene to repair it, to heal it. So it's very, very important. Do not demonize cholesterol. You need cholesterol. It's just when cholesterol is oxidized, that's when there's an issue. And so I kind of already talked about the benefits of cholesterol. But yeah, you have cholesterol around every cell in your body. And so in order to get vitamin D, you know how important vitamin D is, the most important vitamin in the planet. Honestly, vitamin D, they consider it a hormone. That's how powerful it is. Vitamin D can kill cancer cells. It can kill any type of, it's used for your immune system, to fight bacteria, to fight viruses. Vitamin D is so important. Guess what? It is for free. Just go outside. Go outside and enjoy the sun. And so like you need vitamin D. However, when sun hits your skin, guess what you have in your skin? Cholesterol. You have cholesterol in your skin. In order for vitamin D from the sun, UV light, to turn into vitamin D to be used in your body, it's got to use cholesterol. If you do not have cholesterol in your body, you cannot produce vitamin D. Just can't do it. It's physically impossible. And so when you're taking a statin, you're probably going to be vitamin D deficient. That's why supplementing vitamin D is very, very, very important. And so that's very, very important. This is things that you don't hear about. You really don't. Nobody ever teaches you. I mean, nobody ever taught me this until I went to school about it. And I started researching on my own. I had to research on my own, especially about LDL and HDL. And so the reasons for high cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, remember, it's inflammation. Inflammation causes a lot of this high LDL. When you're inflamed, when you come and bring your blood work to me and you have high LDL levels, that tells me one thing: you're inflamed. That's what that tells me. Doesn't tell me you're at risk of heart disease, doesn't tell me you're at risk of a heart attack, any of that. It just tells me you're inflamed. The question's got to be, okay, what is causing my body to be inflamed? What is causing it? What can cause inflammation in your body? High stress, sugar, too much sugar, too many bad fats, and too many toxins. Those are the three things right there. The most common things. There's a lot of things that can cause inflammation, but those are the most common things to increase inflammation inside your body. And so too much sugar, too many bad fats, like trans fats and stuff like that. And then that's another thing. In the 1960s, trans fats got introduced. They switched margarine to they switched butter to margarine. Remember that? Everything was low fat, things like that. And so light, what they call it, light sour cream. You know, everything was low fat, like Well, when that happened, they did that because of the obesity epidemic. The obesity epidemic was just skyrocketing, so they changed everything low fat. But come to find out, in the early 2000s, they found out that fat wasn't the enemy. Trans fats were. And so, but you still hear low fat this, like this, things like that. They're still trying to market that. However, you need fat. You need good fat, not bad fat. You need good fat, like avocado oils, extra virgin olive oils, avocados, coconut oil, coconut, all those things. Those are all good fats in order to help you burn fat and to help you reduce heart disease, which I'm going to explain in a sec. High blood pressure. Okay, so this is what I'm more concerned about than cholesterol, just to let you know. High blood pressure is a big indicator for heart attacks. And so, like, when you have a sustained blood pressure for a long period of time, way over, 120 over 80 is normal. I mean, y'all know that. The pharmaceutical companies are trying to change that, so more people can be on medication. And so they're trying to change it to, what, I think 115 over 75, I believe. And so, no, 125 over 75. That's what they're trying to change it to. So you're within range, and as soon as you hit 125 in systolic blood pressure, boom, you get on some type of blood pressure medication. And so to lower down your blood pressure, but that's blood pressure for a short period of time is normal. You need high blood pressure in stressful situations. When you're trying to get away from danger, your blood pressure rises. That's how God created you. When you're trying to run from a lion, guess what? You need blood vessels in your extremities. So it would take blood out of your core to go to your extremities and your legs so you can run or fight. Fight the lion or run out of the lion. One of those. You need blood in that. So your blood pressure has to increase. So guess what? Your heart has to pump harder in order for you to fight it or run it. And so, however, the problem here in America is that we're stressed. We're fighting a lion 24/7, 7 days a week for 20, 30, 40 years. It's not a physical lion. It's just stress. Period. Stress. Things happen. We look at the news, and that puts a seed in our mind, and then grows a harvest in our heart. And so we're putting too many seeds in our mind, and it starts planting into our heart, and then you actually truly believe it. And so that's how sickness and disease tortures your mind. And so high blood pressure for a short period of time takes you away from danger. Ways to decrease blood pressure is very, very important. That's why I always say vacations are good. And getting away, like if you have a stressful job, if you have a very stressful job or a stressful life, your kids are calling you all the time, asking for money. You have you have bills to pay. You have this job. You have your family on top of you all the time. You have a family member just passed away. You have all these things, and you can only take so much. Your blood pressure rises, and you meditate on it, and it just stays. You need a blood pressure medication if that happens to lower it down. However, you got to figure out what is causing my blood pressure to rise. Like, what is it? What is causing my blood pressure to rise? Is it stress? Or what type of stress? Is that a chemical stressor? Like a chemical stressor, when I say that, that's food or water, something like that. Or my lotion that's full of toxins. That's when a chemical stress. Is it emotional? Like you've just been dealing with a lot? That raises your blood pressure and it keeps it there. Unless you forgive. You forgive and you move on. And then a physical stressor. I mean, you get hit by a car. Guess what? Your blood pressure will increase because it's trying to deal with that physical stressor. So it's very, 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 very important when it comes to blood pressure. Where is it coming from? Where's your high blood pressure coming from? What's causing it? And so, what's the solution? Well, if this can go. And so, what's the solution to high blood pressure? And so, a lot of people, you got to find whatever's causing it. What is the solution for high cholesterol? You got to figure out what's causing it. I'm going to give you some solutions right here. And so, it's very, very important to find the cause, not treat everything. If you treat everything, it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And so, like, you don't marinate yourself. Like marinating a steak is a steak. Like, don't marinate yourself with all of these things. You got to figure out what's causing it. And so, typically, 9 times out of 10, the cause of it is one of these 5 essentials. And so, and this is really what we teach to overcome sickness and disease. And number 1 is core chiropractic. One thing that you have to know about chiropractic, every time you get adjusted, your stress level decreases. There's a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your main stress hormone. That helps you adapt to stress. Every time you get adjusted, it decreases that hormone in order for you to adapt to stress. Another, nutrition, exercise, a mindset. This is mindset. This is exercise, and then toxins. And so we're going to be talking about all 5 essentials in a sec right here. But the first essential we're going to talk about is nutrition. Nutrition is a big thing because what we put inside our bodies truly matters, right? Like if you eat that ice cream and that cookie, yeah, guess what? It's gonna, and some people feel bloated. Some people feel tired because of that sugar high. Things like that. And so that it just matters. It changes your mood. Food is powerful. What we put inside our bodies is very, very powerful. So it truly matters. And so I already talked about low fat and fat carb. I actually got ahead of myself with low fats and things like that. But good fats is good for you. Good fats is good for you. Use real butter, right? Real butter. Grass-fed butter is Kerrygold. Who's ever heard of that brand? Kerrygold butter. That's just probably what I recommend. Okay, if you use any type of butter, Kerrygold butter is the best butter. It will actually help you lose weight. That's number 1, and it will help you with your blood pressure and your cholesterol. And so, Kroger, Albertsons have it too.
Kerrygold?
Kerrygold, yeah.
I think it's from Ireland.
Yep, it's from Ireland. And so, oils, what you cook with, right? If you want to fry something, avocado oil. It has a high melting point. It doesn't burn so quickly compared to extra virgin olive oil. I wouldn't fry with extra virgin olive oil. I only bake with extra virgin olive oil because extra virgin olive oil, God created it. It's good. However, it can become rancid. And rancid means it's not good for you. And so, and actually will do more harm than good in your body. And so, but those are all good fats. But this is an extra thing that many people don't know. Extra virgin olive oil, you want it to be single origin. What is single origin? It comes from one place. Brazil oil. Brazil extra virgin olive oil. If it doesn't have a single origin, it's coming from Mexico, US, Uruguay, Paraguay, from everywhere. It came from 3, 5, 6, 7 different places. They mixed it all together, and here you go. That denatures the good fat that God created. And then we eat it and increase inflammation. So you want single origin. So when you look at extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, whatever it is, make sure it's look at the ingredient. It tells you it came from Brazil, came from the US, came from Mexico, came from whatever it is. Know where it comes from. That's another step above, because that will help you, especially with the inflammation that you're feeling. It will help you lower down your inflammation because it's a good fat. It's got to be single origin.
Dr. Rivera, don't you have to be kind of careful though when you're reading those labels? Because sometimes you look at the company where it is.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't necessarily
Yes.
mean where it came
Yes. It should have, the U.S. requires all companies to say, where does it come from?
from. Okay.
And so it should have like Mexico, or something like that in it. And so, and you will see like 3 countries come together. Oh, wait a minute, this one's a little rancid. And so that's very important. Omega-3 fatty acids. And so omega-3 fatty acids is one of the most important things that you should take for your heart. The reason that is because your body produces omega-3s. However, you have a ratio between omega-3 and omega-6s. And so like those, that needs to be even 2 to 1 or 2. And so like omega-3s come from like fish, different types of fish. Wild caught fish is really preferably, but basically fish is very, very important. There's a heart doctor. This is who I would follow if you have heart issues. He's the paleocardiologist. His name is Dr. Jack Wolfson. Dr. Jack Wolfson. Funny story. Well, I'm going to be talking about him a little bit more, but funny story. Me and Jack Wolfson go way back. And so like, I've invited him to a lot of, he has a practice in Arizona. And he's a natural health doctor, but he gets to the cause of the problem of heart issues. But I remember I invited him to a lot of seminars that I hosted. And it's funny because he never brought his wife. And so he always talked about his wife, but he never brought his wife. So I always teased him about, who's this imaginary wife that you're bringing? Because he never had his wife. But his wife is a chiropractor. And so his wife's a chiropractor. They have an amazing office in Arizona. But one of the things that he talks about is how powerful omega-3 is, literally like a superfood for your heart. And so when your cardiologist, what does your cardiologist always recommend? Fish oil. That's omega-3. That's omega-3. Why in the world will a heart doctor recommend fish oil? What is so special about that? Well, it's a good, healthy fat that helps you lower down your blood pressure, lower down your inflammation. That's really the number one thing. It lowers down the inflammation, which in turn creates lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol. Does that make sense? And so omega-3, consuming fish twice a day, there was a study right here. Fish twice per week can result in a 36% reduction of coronary heart disease. Coronary heart disease, what in the world is that? That's when there's plaque in your arteries. That's closing down that artery. That's how people get stents, is coronary heart disease. And so like it's very, very important when it comes to that. Fish is really good because it has omega-3 fatty acids. This is another superfood. Have y'all heard of pumpkin seeds? Pumpkin seeds. Listen, I just learned this. I was researching pumpkin seeds. And pumpkin seeds have been known to have anti-hypertensive effects, anti-diabetic effects, and anti-atherosclerosis effects. What is that? Hypertensive is basically, it lowers down your blood pressure. Pumpkin seeds lower down your blood pressure. It helps you not get diabetes. Helps you with your sugar levels. And atherosclerotic, what is that? Is basically cement in your arteries. Plaque. Which, guess what? Plaque has cholesterol on the scene. Cholesterol is definitely on the scene of plaque because it's trying to repair it. And so, but pumpkin seeds have all these effects. So I'm going to break these down. Oh, this is a terrible picture. You can't really see this. It's like foggy. You need a magnifying glass for this. But so basically, I'm not sure if you can see this, but angiotensinogen, basically, that's an enzyme in your body. And so one of the ways your body increases your blood pressure is by this right here. So you need calcium inside your body in order to contract your blood vessels. So what it does, renin comes from the kidneys. So when you have kidney disease, any type of kidney trouble, it's going to affect this right here, renin. It's probably going to increase your blood pressure. Renin is a very important enzyme that turns angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. But this comes from the lungs right here called ACE. And I'm not sure in the last 2 years y'all heard about COVID. Anybody heard about COVID? Yep. So COVID, I'm not sure in the news, y'all heard about ACE? You ever heard of an ACE inhibitor? Right? To lower down blood pressure? Or, COVID, people that were having COVID, it was affecting that enzyme. It was actually increasing ACE in your body, which was causing blood pressure issues. Because ACE is the only enzyme that converts angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. And angiotensin 2 is what brings calcium into the cell, in the cell of the blood vessel, so you can contract. And that causes vasoconstriction. So when you're blocking an artery, what does that do? It increases your blood pressure. And when you have this going and going and going and going and going, guess what? You're going to have blood pressure for the rest of your life. And so so what does pumpkin seeds do? It stops ACE coming from the lungs into your, to turning angiotensin 2. That's what pumpkin seeds do for your blood pressure. It increases vasodilation inside your body. If you're a smoker, if you know a smoker, guess what? Most smokers, they have high blood pressure. The reason that is because their ACE is way too high right now. So most smokers, when a doctor knows, hey, you're a smoker, let's give you an ACE inhibitor. That's a medication in order to lower down the blood pressure. But guess what? Pumpkin seeds do the exact same thing. Another thing right here, right here, these two right here, superoxide and hydrogen peroxide, those are free radicals inside your body. Your body creates free radicals from inflammation. What creates inflammation? What were they? Sugar, too much sugar, too many fats, too many bad fats, and toxins. Those three things creates free radicals, superoxide, hydrogen peroxide. And it creates an endothelial dysfunction. What in the world is that? Basically what that is diabetes. Anybody diabetic? Diabetes basically creates an endothelial dysfunction. Basically around your cell you have receptors. So when you eat that chocolate chip cookie, insulin goes up from your pancreas. Why is insulin so important? Because it lowers down your blood pressure. Not your blood pressure, your blood glucose level. It brings that sugar, that cookie, into the cell in order for energy. However, when you have too many bad fats, too much sugar, and too many toxins, what happens? Those receptors that insulin attaches to, that creates a dysfunction. Now you don't have those receptors. Now you have sugar in your blood. And that's due to these free radicals from constant inflammation inside your body. Is this making sense? I'm trying to break it down as easy as possible so you understand what's causing it. However, pumpkin seeds have quercetin. Who ever heard of that? Quercetin during COVID. People were recommending taking quercetin because it helped you with your immune system and it got rid of free radicals. Vitamin E and quercetin blocks these two right here, these free radicals. In turn, it helps you decrease your blood glucose levels, which creates an anti-diabetic effect. An anti-diabetic effect. So it reduces your blood glucose levels. Pumpkin seeds. And of course, vitamin E and quercetin with pumpkin seeds. How, earlier we talked about cholesterol, LDL. Remember that? The only way LDL is bad for you is when this free radical, superoxide, from what? Sugar, too much sugar, bad fats, and toxins. This free radical comes in and connects to LDL and it creates ox-LDL. That's a heart attack waiting to happen. That's a heart attack waiting to happen. So there's a blood test that you can do. You can ask your doctor to do that will measure ox LDL. If your ox LDL is out of normal, that's a risk. Then something has to change. Something has to change. Ox LDL is literally like the cause of a lot of atherosclerosis because it creates arterial plaque formation. When oxygen attaches to LDL, which is a carrier, carries cholesterol. Very, very important. However, what do pumpkin seeds do? Quercetin vitamin E, it stops this free radical from turning LDL to ox LDL. That's how amazing pumpkin seeds do for your body. And so your snack, like what you should be snacking on, yes, seeds are great, but pumpkin seeds I highly recommend. Because especially if you have heart issues or you never want heart issues, especially for the young people here. And so like, that's very, very important. Testing, if you truly want to test cholesterol, test this, ox LDL. Curcumin is another superfood. Curcumin is basically in curry spice. You ever heard of that curry? Curcumin basically prevents clogged arteries, prevents heart failure. If your heart is not pumping the way it should, and you're swelling in your legs, if you're swelling in your legs, there's some type of sign of heart failure. And so curcumin is one of the best things that you can do to prevent heart failure. And it also treats Alzheimer's and arthritis and breast cancer and things like that. God created curcumin. And he knew exactly what we needed. He knew exactly what we needed. And so, like curcumin, there's something called polyphenol in curcumin. Polyphenol is the substance that helps you with clogged arteries. It has an anti-sclerotic effect. Very, very important when it comes to curcumin. Putting it in food, taking a supplement of curcumin every single day, you're going to see a big difference when it comes to that. Beets. Raw is better. Who's ever heard of beets? Anybody like beets?
Not particularly.
So like beets are one of the most powerful things that you can get. And so typically beet juice is really good, you know, but basically raw is better, but basically it improves blood flow. The reason that is because it has nitrates. Nitrates turn into your digestive system turns nitrates into nitric oxide. One of the most important things that you should know of what nitric oxide does to your body, it increases your blood vessels. It relaxes your blood vessels. They're not constricted because of stress. It opens them up, more blood flow. So it improves blood flow. It decreases inflammation in the body. It has betalains. Betalains basically decreases things like CRP. CRP is C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory substance in your body. When your doctor gets some blood work, they're probably going to look for CRP. That's CRP basically is an indication of inflammation. So betalains reduce that. It supports digestion because it has a lot of fiber. If you're having problems using the bathroom, beet juice or beets are really, really good for you. And of course, it supports brain health. It has manganese, which helps with your memory, with your concentration and things like that. So beets, I mean, I can go on and on with beets, but beets is a heart superfood. Curcumin is too, and of course, pumpkin seeds is too. And so like, this right here is the, basically, I want to point these out. You already know about curcumin, but CoQ10, Dr. Wolfson, Jack Wolfson, that heart doctor in Arizona, he says it should be malpractice for your doctor to prescribe a statin without prescribing CoQ10. It should be malpractice. The reason that is because a statin causes muscle wasting. muscle wasting. And the most important muscle in your body is what? Your heart. And so if it wastes your heart, even though in expense to, lower down your cholesterol, what does CoQ10? It stops that from happening, basically. CoQ10 stops that from happening. And so CoQ10 supplement, if you're taking a statin, CoQ10 is what I highly, highly recommend because it stops that muscle wasting from happening in your heart. And so because your cholesterol can be down, however, the strength of your heart won't be the same. And so and he says it should be malpractice. That's what he said. And so it's very, very important. CoQ10, curcumin, as you can see. This is, if you have problems with cholesterol, this is probably what I recommend. You already know what curcumin is. Red yeast rice. The Chinese and the Japanese use red yeast rice. Basically, red yeast rice has been known to lower down your cholesterol. And so it decreases inflammation, basically. Plant sterols is basically what plants, basically, it's very similar to cholesterol. And so when you put plant sterols inside your body, your brain is like, wait a minute, this is cholesterol already. I don't have to raise it to go to that site of inflammation. And so that's just another, that's basically to balance your cholesterol. And of course, high blood pressure. Nitric oxide basically opens up your blood vessels. BP support has bonito peptide. Bonito peptide, the Japanese have been using bonito peptide for years. And you probably don't see a lot of Japanese people getting heart attacks. Bonito peptide basically is one of the most powerful things to lower down your blood pressure. And BP support is one of those things. And so nitric oxide, these are just little bundles so you know, okay, this can be used. And you got to get this. It's not about treating. It's not about treating that condition. It's about, if you can do this, but if you never change the way you eat, you just wasted your money. You just wasted money on supplements. You got to change the way you eat. You got to change, a lot of toxins and things like that. That's very, very important. And so supplements are great, but when you're doing it the right way. And so that's very, very important right here. And so, but these do help. Exercise. Guys, probably everybody in this room knows that exercises will help your heart, right? Your heart is a muscle. It needs to work. If it doesn't work, guess what? It starts shrinking. It stop working. And so it's like a bicep. If you don't work your bicep, guess what? It starts shrinking. And so same thing. Heart is a smooth muscle. It's a cardiac muscle. It's different. And so it has to work. And so exercise, there's a difference between, who's ever heard of maximum heart rate? Maximum heart rate. Maximum heart rate basically is the highest amount of your heart can go. This differentiates by age. So how do you know your maximum heart rate? Basically, you subtract your age by 220. You subtract your age by 220, and basically that's your maximum heart rate. If you go slightly above that and you have heart problems, that's not really good. So now everybody has these Apple Watches. They have all these the phone can actually measure your heart rate, your blood. It measures so many things now. But specifically, your heart rate has to, and when you exercise, your heart rate has to be high. Basically, your heart rate is between 70 to 90. Normal. Of course, it differentiates with age. However, when you exercise, your heart rate has to go above 100 in order to work out your heart. And so when I talk about exercise, it's not about going to the gym and work all these weights and things like that. It's about doing a certain exercise that you enjoy, whether it's walking, and walking is going to increase your heart rate. The heat, just to let you know, the heat can fake exercise. The heat, you go outside right now, you're probably going to be sweating right now. The heat is, the heat does not determine your heart rate. Just know that. It gets very, very hot here. And so you can be outside walking for 5 minutes and you feel like you just exercised for the day. That can be false reading. So if you're able to go inside, like Ward 3 has like this track around or something like that, and you can't withstand the heat, that's what I would do. I would just try to walk, but walk fast, slow down. Walk fast, slow down. That will help you increase your decrease your blood pressure, decrease your cholesterol. Exercise, I can't tell you the benefits of exercise, but I mean, I can go on and on about exercise, but basically, regular exercise can reduce cardiovascular disease by 48 to 57%, basically by 50%, by half. Just by exercising at least 3 to 5 times a day. Not a day. A week. 3 to 5 times a week. Not a day, man. You'll be working on a marathon out here. But if you're able to exercise, literally we exercise 15, 30 minutes. And so basically like a HIIT workout. You can either, if you have problems with your knees and you can't really walk, start punching in the air randomly. Start punching in the air as fast as you can for about 30 seconds. You relax for about 30 seconds and you do it again. And I guarantee that's going to wear you out. Stand up and start, tapping your feet as fast as you can. Whatever you can to increase your heart rate, that's going to increase that's going to decrease your blood pressure. It's going to increase your hormones. I mean, it has many good benefits to exercise. We are not meant to sit down. We're creatures of movement. We have to move. You're not moving, you're dying. And so they call sitting the new smoking, because it destroys your spine. It destroys your discs and your ligaments and your joints and things like that. And so movement is very, very important, and it doesn't have to be strenuous. And so also, I'm done with talking about exercise. Your mindset. And so your mindset has a lot to do with blood pressure. You ever heard of monks? Monks going out there and trying things like that. They did a study where they measured the heart rate and the blood pressure of monks for about just a week. That's it. And what they saw was every time they meditated and they just got into a silent place, their blood pressure literally went down by 40%. Because they relaxed. They just started being grateful. Gratefulness. Another thing, what you put in your mind is very, very important. That news, that CNN, I would have reduced that to at least once a year. Looking at CNN, because it just destroys. It just creates discouragement. And so, but when you start digging into your word, when you start being around people that make you laugh and things like that, laughter is a medicine that lowers down your blood pressure. Taking a break from work or on a weekend, walking with your daughter or walking, going to that same Houston that you just opened up, doing things away from your normal to break your habits, that will help you lower down your blood vessels, your blood pressure, and it will actually decrease inflammation. So it's very, very important trying to get away from stress, basically. Stress, you can never avoid stress. You can only adapt to it. And so, but stress will lead to blood pressure, will lead to heart disease. I mean, every single day. And so ways to decrease your stress level is very, very important when it comes to this. And so sleeping is how you heal. Sleeping at least 6 to 7 hours, even 8 hours if you can. But if you're able to sleep, guess what? It lowers down your blood pressure. It decreases your cholesterol. And so because your body's relaxing, it doesn't have to be inflamed. It doesn't have to fight from a lion all the time. And so these little simple things, you probably already knew. It's just applying it and doing it every day and being consistent with those. Minimizing toxins. So I can talk about toxins all day long, but these are 3 major toxins that increase your blood pressure. You're smoking. I mean, everybody should know that smoking will increase your blood pressure. BPA, basically, BPA is found in plastics. It's found in plastic, but it's when the plastic melts into the water. So when you leave water outside in that heat, it literally leaches into the water. And then we drink that, and that's a carcinogen. BPA is a carcinogen. And so a lot of the plants here, they do all the time. That's what they create, a lot of these plastics. But what it does, it increases your blood vessels because those are toxins that go inside our cells. And if you don't properly take it out of your body, you don't properly detox, it'll stay in there for years and years and years and years. And then now you're trying to figure out, I did the keto diet. I did this diet. I'm drinking all my water. I'm exercising and I'm still not losing weight. And my blood pressure is still the same. My cholesterol is still the same. What's going on? So there's some toxicity going on that you just haven't addressed yet. There's some toxicity going on. When everything else fails and you do everything right, look at the toxins inside your body. And another is your POFAs. That's a long word, PFOA. But basically, that's like your Teflon pans. Teflon pans, they've been sued out the kazoo. But basically, these Teflon pans are very, very toxic. They're a carcinogen when you use Teflon. And so that's a major thing when it comes to high blood pressure and high cholesterol and coronary artery disease and heart attacks and so forth. And so Teflon pans, Gorex is another one. I would try to get away from those. I would use pans like ceramic or stainless steel pans. Those are great. Iron skillets, things like that. Those are good pans that don't leach into your food and then you don't ingest and doesn't increase your blood pressure and things like that. And so last but not least is chiropractic. You already know your nervous system controls everything inside your body. In order for your heart to beat, for your lungs to breathe, for a cut in your foot to heal, your brain has to send signals from your brain down the spinal cord, out the nerves, every cell, tissue, and organ in your body. This has been studied back to back to back to back, so many thousands of studies right here. But by adjusting just C1, it lowers down your blood pressure by about 17 points immediately after you get adjusted. And so why is that? Because it decreases your stress level. You ever been adjusted and you feel like, like you just feel like a weight just got lifted. That's decreasing your stress level right there. Chiropractic improves lung function. Every time we adjust your thoracic spine, it increases your lung function. It improves your autonomic functions. Autonomic function is basically things that you can't control, that your body just regularly controls from the inside out. Your heart, your digestion, and things like that. It increases your heart variability. So there's been, do you even know what heart rate variability is? Anybody? Mm-hmm. So heart rate variability, this is like a new thing here in the 20th century. Heart rate variability, scientists have really been digging up in this heart rate variability, but what they found was heart rate variability is a big indicator of heart attacks and strokes. And so the lower your heart rate variability is, the more risk you are for heart attacks and strokes. The higher it is, the better. Heart rate variability basically is used to determine your heart's ability to adapt to stress. So when you're dealt with a situation, your heart rate variability can go up or down. If it goes up, that's a good thing. If it goes down, that's not a good thing. And so heart rate variability is one of the most important things, and it's new. And so there's this watch called Whoop. Whoop. That's what it's called, Whoop. WHOOP. What the name is, I don't know why they called it Whoop, but that's what it is. Basically, they send you a watch, and you pay like a subscription, $20 a month, $30. I'm not sure what it is, but basically it's Whoop. But it determines, it shows you your heart rate variability. It literally tells you, hey, your ability to adapt to stress is pretty high. That's a good thing. So you're less likely to get a heart attack. You're less likely to, get some type of stroke or anything like that. And so that's very, very important. Heart rate variability. And guess what chiropractic does? When it adjusts you, it increases your heart rate variability. And so there's actually some testing that you can do to measure heart rate variability. And so, but now they've created watches. It's just amazing what they've done. And so, but basically, and it lowers inflammation right here. But this is it. Whoop. That's what that is. So this is what it is. Whoop, right there. And so basically, heart rate variability right here. And so and then it, of course, it does respiration rate, blood oxygen levels, resting heart rate, skin temperature, so forth. So this is a pretty neat tool. If you're really want to know your heart variability and other things and things like that, Whoop is a really good, it's new, and so I probably would recommend that right there. And then last but not least, testing. So if you know, if you're concerned about your a lot of your heart rate, your blood pressure, your risk of heart disease and things like that, this is the type of testing, this is what I would recommend right here. If you want to get to the root cause of it, if you want to get to the root cause of heart conditions, this is the type of testing this I would recommend right here. At advanced lipids, including ApoB, ApoA, APA. This right here, remember this? OxLDL, probably the most important right there. And so OxLDL. But all those are all inflammation markers, cholesterol markers. It's not just LDL, HDL. That does not tell you much. It does not tell you much. And so immediately when the doctor tells you, hey, you got a high LDL level, let's put you on a statin. Like, that doesn't mean anything. That just tells me you're inflamed. You got to get to the root cause of it. This is the type of testing that I would use. If you want to take a picture of this, this is what I recommend. If you want this type of testing, let me know. Like, I can test you for all of this. Me, not me. I don't have a lab in here, but I use a lab right across the street, right next to Academy, called Owls Road. Not Owls Road. Called Owls Testing, Lab Testing. It's a new one. So basically, this is for anyone. This is for your friends, your family, things like that. This is the type of testing, very in-depth testing that you should get. Also, I put this right here, this link, Natural Heart Doctor. That's Jack Wolfson. There's a book called Paleocardiologist. I would read that. Paleocardiologist is a really good book. Basically, this is what he does. And basically, I've really adopted a lot of things that he does, especially when it comes to heart conditions. And so, if you want to do it through his website, you can. They'll just send you from Arizona a little packet, and you do all the testing, you send it back. You can do that, or you can do it here. And so, either one. But those are the type of testing that I would recommend to get to the root cause, so you don't have to treat stuff all your life. You want to get to the root cause of why you're actually inflamed and why you have heart disease and why your arteries are getting clogged and why you have a 90% blockage and you have to put a stent in. And so, this is very, very important when it comes to testing. Is everybody done with that?
I'm having problems with my phone, but I finally got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay. We have some upcoming opportunities. Basically, we've got a Spanish event next Saturday. I know nobody habla español aquí. No. So basically, the Spanish pastors are gonna come. And they're gonna bring a dish, and they're gonna have a good time of fellowship and things like that. Nutrition 101. So Jennifer does this, our head CA here, and so she does. She's gonna go over basically the best way to eat. Nutrition 101 is really good. And then I'm gonna do a gut health workshop. A lot of people are getting a lot of colon issues, a lot of gut issues, things like that, and people just don't know what to do. And so one of the biggest things that I'm going to be talking about is really your immune system, how it comes from your gut and things like that. So if you want to come to that, mark your calendars. It's going to be at the end of next month. But other than that, how to connect with us is right here. We're all over the place. We're not in Twitter. I'm not sure why Twitter was there, but we're on TikTok. We are on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Things like that. Life by Design Chiropractic. I have old videos of what I've done. I've done more heart talks. I've done gut health. I've done immune system. I've done every type of talk you can think of. They're all on YouTube. They're on Facebook, Instagram, things like that. So you can connect with us there. We're always posting stuff for health and things like that. But hopefully y'all learned something. You had some extra steps, some good snacks, pumpkin seeds, beets, things like that, that you can do, actual steps that you can do, because all this is all good information, but if you never apply it, it doesn't transform you.
I have a question about vitamin D.
Yeah.
How much would you recommend, if you're going to get a supplement, they come in grams. You don't know which ones.
So I use, and so they come in international units, 5,000 I use.
5,000?
The FDA recommends 2,000. And as you get older, you need pretty high. So 5,000 I use. If you are sick, if you're not feeling well, and if you're battling with something, I will bump that up to 10,000 I use. And so I'll bump it up to 10,000 I use. Honestly, I've never seen somebody overdose from vitamin D. And so, honestly, I don't think that's ever been in history. And so, vitamin D is very, very important. So when you're sick, I will bump it up to 10,000. But normal, I take 5,000 I use all the time. During COVID, I was taking 10,000 because I was around a lot of people, and stuff like that. So if you work in a public place and things like that, and if you fear things like that, especially with COVID things, I will bump it up to 10,000 I use. And so if you take a statin, absolutely, you got to be taking some vitamin D or go outside to get some vitamin D. And so, but other than that, the supplements that you saw before, it's all 20% off. And so I think you have a little thing inside your packet of how much they are. Olivia will be up there. Oh, you can shut off the live event.